Hi, I'm Charlie. Welcome to the Light Language channel. If you've been here for a while, you can tell that this is a nice new camera. It's actually not. I actually got this literal vlogging camera in 2024. It went into a box. I moved. It didn't find its way out of the box until today. So I'm just checking on this new camera, looking at all the ways in which my hair is flying a million different directions. Um, and I don't know, still just figuring out, oh, look. Are you also someone who vlogs? Do you also have a problem with dust everywhere and the sun that may or may not be getting in the way? We're just here for the authenticity of life, right? I finished I finished being interviewed by Eboni Banks a few hours ago, and I kind of just wanted to tell you a little bit about what kinds of things are going on for me. Um, Ebony and I met at a book incubator with the book doulas. She had actually already finished a book, her first, which is the intuitive or your intuitive nudge, excuse me, which I'm also going to be. I'm in the process of reading. She's got a book club about it. If you go to her website, Body Way Intuition, I'll put it in the description. You can sign up to get the Zoom link to be part of that every other week conversation about, I mean, really your intuition, not just the book itself. But she's got a new podcast, and I love Ebony's voice. I love the conversations that she has. But really, what I've loved the most about being the person being interviewed was how well she did at reining me in. I talk a lot, and I go in a million different directions. Those of us that are neurodivergent, we do that quite a bit, don't we? And having someone to really do a very impactful job at being like, okay, so, but you mentioned this. Let's go back here. Let's focus here. Let's get some information here. And because I do talk a lot, I'll be coming back for a part two on her podcast. So look forward to that. Her podcast is really fun. It's really good. It's the kind of podcast you put on and you just get to feel like you're in the room with two people having a conversation about their shared continued journey in tapping into their gifts, into the kinds of services that they offer to others, in just sort of the understanding of what do these terms mean? We all kind of say a bunch of things, but we don't always take the time to stop and say, okay, but what does that mean? And what do you mean when you say that? And tell me more about what that looks like in general. And Ebony does a really good job of doing exactly the hold on, I want to make sure that we're keeping everybody in the space up to date and with us so that we're not just kind of zooming ahead on something. Which is not really how I operate at all. And I love that. I love it so much. I love that I got a chance to just play in that space a little bit. I'm also using this episode, sure, to talk about the fact that I will be starting a podcast too. I've toyed with it for a while. I've played with a number of different formats and a number of different things. This, you could argue, is a podcast, because it basically is. But the podcast itself is going to be referred to as the Spiritual Pivot. It's primarily for folks who have had a spiritual pivot in their career, because I want to talk to people who are also attempting to pivot their life in the spiritual career trajectory, a lot like I am. I'm still in the pivot, but I do believe I'm coming to the edge of it, the end of it, okay, so a next step can sort of start happening. And there's a lot of messy parts in this. There's a lot of in-between parts, and most of who I get guidance from are folks who have been doing this for 10, 20 years. They're not in the pivot anymore. They're in their own pivot, their own life things, but they've become experts in their field. I was already an expert, already in my field, in more than one career path. I've pivoted before, and pivoting into Akashic record reading, into mediumship, into channeling in general, it's not something that I wanted to do as a hobby. It's definitely something that I wanted to do as a career. So I'm going to be filming a pilot episode of that, where I interview myself. And actually, by I mean proxy. Hi, everybody. Yeah, Proxy's going to be interviewing me. Yep, I'm going to be interviewing her just so that everybody gets a chance to understand who Charlie is. I mean, y'all understand who I am, but new podcast, new YouTube channel. What does that bring me up to? Let's see. I've got the Light Language channel, Zuzu and Proxy, and Charlie and Guest. Two Moros, which, that's more of just vlog with my husband. I do, yeah, I do have one for Soul Harmony Connection. I haven't done a whole lot with it. There's literally just one episode on there so far, which was basically an Akashic Contract episode with Gaia and Arcturians. Haven't done much with that yet. And then I do have one that's just my full name, because why not have 5, right? Why not have 5? Oh, wait, the spiritual pivot is number 5? Okay, so I probably won't do anything with the other one. Okay, cool. Always like checking in with guidance. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming out next week. Or whenever you see this. I don't know. I'm currently planning on January 20th being the launch of that one. And if you're someone who watches this and you've also been going through your own spiritual pivot, I would love to talk to you. I'd love to have a conversation with you. And the whole purpose of having a podcast, it will be visual. It will be on YouTube. I'll also put it on Spotify, probably also on Apple there's other like podcasty things. I'm still in the process of understanding and learning all of that, but I would love to talk to you. I will also put the Google form in the description here, even though you've not heard anything else really about it. Just if you're curious, if you want to talk. And at the very end of every interview, I will be providing an Akashic record reading. Short. It won't be more than like 10, 15 minutes. Up to 20. Okay. Because the episodes themselves will be anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. They're just going to be intentionally long, because conversations that have to do with life pivots, it causes energetic changes in the body, right? And if we're going to be diving into your past and your present and your future, I want to make sure that your central nervous system is doing okay throughout that conversation. And so those kinds of conversations, when I meet up with people, I'm going to make them like, expect for there to be a 2-hour long on either end, but we will hopefully finish within an hour to an hour and a half. And as with most things, I'm not going to be editing out or moving things around, because the flow of how things come out, at least out of me, and the exchange that sort of happens, there's a reason I've been practicing what I've been practicing for the past year. There's a reason I've been doing it the way that I've been doing it. So it will be turn on, open channel state. We are now in your Akashic records. I will be asking you questions about your career, your life, your spiritual career, how it's been going. And just really, it's an advice conversation for those who are also pivoting and just need some other folks to lean against and say, oh, okay, you too? So you've been experiencing that too? Huh. And to learn, because what I've learned is that, being a professional Akashic record reader, I thought that I would be able to find clients. That has not been the case, not paying clients. And there's a lot of reasons for that, a lot of reasons that were personally guided for me, that have to do with making my prices pretty high from the start, that have to do with, I marketed, but I didn't intentionally put myself into spaces where I would be meeting people face to face and doing the word of mouth so much. I relied on word of mouth on screens and globally, really, instead of more local experiences with people. And there's just a lot. And that's for the first episode, right? That's for the pilot. We'll save it for the pilot. But I'm very grateful for opportunities that folks who are trying new things like podcasts, other interviews that they're trying to do. I'm very grateful for opportunities to be able to answer questions and provide whatever insight is available. And from my own side, I got to tap into Eboni's collective. When you do any sort of interview, you're tapping into the viewership of who that person is speaking to. And what came through was different than what I thought might. It's certainly different than what comes through when it's just me talking, because I go off into all matter of things. it kept me much more focused, and the conversation got so much more centered around Gaia and really some body-based practices in ways that were deeply relieving for me because I very much love answering questions that I feel like might help. And there were a few times during that conversation where something came out of me, and after it came out, I observed it and I went, oh, well, that feels very insightful and helpful. Thank you, whoever just provided whoever just provided me with that level of understanding, because it is my experience. But when we're channeling and when we're doing these kinds of things while we're channeling, we're utilizing our guides and we're utilizing this whole collective of what is needed most to be of service. And it was really impactful and really powerful for me. And I hope for Ebony too. We had fun. We had a lot of fun. So if you like what you see here too, you've also been thinking, I want to start a podcast. I want to this. I want to that. Please reach out. I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy to give you an Akashic Record reading for your podcast or for something that you're doing. And truly, if you want to answer some questions from me and talk to me, you know what? Proxy is available to also be a part of the conversation. Yeah, if you want me, I can ask you the questions. We can do that. That's fine. If you want Zuzu, that's fine too. Ask, you know? I will check in with guides. I'll check in with them. I'll see what is most aligned. And we'll just have a good time hanging out, talking about your business, talking about your life, and answering whatever big questions you may have about it for that day. Because that's the thing about an Akashic Record reading. It's for your highest good on that day. Sometimes what comes through is just so that you'll make some decisions in the near future that then end up changing whatever the trajectory is that you may have been asking the questions about altogether. Who knows? But yeah, I'll just end this. I'm just checking it with my guides. I'll just end this by thanking Ebony once again, because that was really a fun interview. And truly, listen to her podcast. And if you're also interested in being on hers, she's got a form. Fill it out, express your interest, reach out to people. Reach out to people, especially when they're also beginning different phases of what it is that they're doing. And play in that space. See if it's something that you want to continue doing yourself, especially if you've been getting the pings of, well, I want to share, I want to talk, I want to I want to do these things. The best way to do them is to do them with others, do them in community, learn from how it feels to be on the other side of it, and that informs what you're doing as your own host. And also, do the thing and make a bunch of mistakes. And then find a camera that you got yourself, years ago. And you're like, well, this is a way better camera than the one that I've got on my computer. And I think the audio is fine now. So now I just got to work on the timing and get the sun and I to come to an agreement. Yeah, I see you. I see you. No. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. And we'll talk soon. Bye.